Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a mainstream news article come through the Guardian through my news feed yesterday, and I grabbed it. I'm going to link it down below for you guys, and it's talking about in the United Kingdom one of the same things we're having happen here in the United States, and that is that all these companies are pushing out extra protein added products. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about it. And the interesting thing is, this is obviously not being marketed towards bodybuilders. Food manufacturers don't have time to cater to such a tiny niche, but they are catering to people who are trying to be more fitness oriented, because all the bodybuilding magazines and the gyms and everything else are pushing protein powders, which really are not necessary for the most part. They're pushing all these products. People are under the impression that they need to be consuming more protein, more protein, more protein. And so the people who are just trying to get into shape and get healthier and get fitter, they're being marketed all of this hype, all these products to get more protein into their diet. And the reality is, it's really nonsense, because they're being told, oh, you know, just to build muscle, help build muscle. But people who aren't even lifting weights very hard aren't going to gain significant amounts of muscle anyways. So it's like this whole idea that they need more protein. And the truth is, they probably, if they wanted to gain muscle, they probably need to be eating more and training more, rather than trying to find cereals with extra protein and stuff added. And honestly, if you're not lactose intolerant, like most cereals are high in protein, any whole grain cereal is already high in protein. You put your milk on it, skim milk particularly, you're getting an enormous amount of protein. There's no way a person who's consuming at least caloric maintenance, who is eating a bowl of whole grain cereal with skim milk on it every morning and then eating a balanced diet, is not getting enough protein to gain a reasonable amount of muscle, or gaining enough protein to be healthy. And I think that's kind of what they're pointing out there with this, is that the average person's protein needs are relatively low. I'm not saying that people should be consuming low protein diets, because people who exercise and who do work out do need more protein. But it's nowhere near what's being marketed to people. And we can cover athletes and bodybuilders in a minute, but for the average person who isn't trying to gain large amounts of muscle, we're not trying to get to a 300-pound deadlift for a woman or a 500-pound deadlift for a male. People who just want to get into shape, even supplementing protein and trying to find protein-added foods is really absurd. Most of those people have no trouble consuming probably twice the protein they need for their goals. And as they point out kind of in the article, excess protein, they're saying it gets urinated out. That's not true. The nitrogen gets urinated out, because the rest of the protein is going to be converted into carbohydrates. You're just going to convert it into glucose. And then you're going to excrete the nitrogen out in your urine. And you know, another factor to consider there is that it's been pointed out in other articles, we don't know the long-term effects of consuming ultra-high protein diets. All right, we have short-term studies showing no real problems for people with healthy kidneys and everything, but we don't have any research on 10,000 people who consumed 200, 300, 400 grams of protein a day. We don't have any long-term studies to see what sort of problems it causes. We really don't know. And I think neither myself nor any of these dietitians are advocating low protein diets for people who exercise. And that's a point that people need to understand. When you talk about these things, you're not saying to consume a low protein diet. Everyone agrees a high protein diet is a good idea for people who work out and who exercise. But the definition of a high protein diet is vastly different than what's being thrown out there in the supplement industry sponsored bodybuilding world on the internet. Now these people, what they're finding is that, you know, the average person, even female, needs maybe 45 or 50 grams of protein even to get into shape. Average male maybe 60 grams. All right, most people in first world countries, whether it's the United Kingdom, the United States, whatever, have no trouble getting 100 grams of protein a day. It's not uncommon for someone to get 90 to 100 grams of protein a day who's not even trying. Now, when you have people who are consuming whole foods, and again, the only reason people end up with less protein is because they're eating a lot of like fried foods, junk food, candy, soda, and they're getting a lot of their calories from ultra low protein foods. If a person is consuming most of their calories from things like whole grains, a lot of starchy vegetables, things like that, you'd be surprised how easy it is to hit 100 grams of protein. You can hit 100 grams of protein a day without even eating animal products. And most of us eat animal products. I mean, I do. I consume a lot of chicken, lean steak, Greek yogurt. I mean, those are staples in my own diet. But I don't track my protein. But, you know, for people who were to say eat a lot of beans and whole wheat pasta or whole wheat bread, getting 100 grams of protein before they even get to their animal products isn't even uncommon. It can very, very easily be done. And then, you know, a lot of people today, though, they're consuming a lot of extra lean protein sources, normal foods, yogurt, chicken. So again, it's the research is showing that most people in at least Western countries who consume adequate calories for their activity level, who are active at all, easily get 100 grams of protein. Many sedentary people who don't work out consume easily double the RDA on protein. All right, it's protein deficiency is unheard of in first world countries. And when it comes to building a little bit of muscle mass, again, it's been overhyped how much protein you need to build muscle. And it's because people don't understand how slowly you gain muscle, and they don't understand how little protein is actually in muscle. And to remind people, again, when you're consuming meat, and again, most of us consume meat, and so this is a really easy way to look at it. When you take a pound of raw meat, how much protein is in it? Most of you read the label. A lot of you guys track your protein. Most lean cuts of meat, the raw meat, when it's still wet, you haven't cooked all the water out, just like your muscles still have water and fluids and everything in them when they're alive and on your body. A pound of protein, or a pound of meat, contains 100 to maybe, in some cases, up to 120 grams of protein a day. All right, so put that in perspective. Are you gaining multiple pounds of muscle per week? No, no one's ever done that. Even new gains, the best case scenario, you're talking about at most 2 pounds of muscle per month, and that's in an ideal environment for a short period of time. So that means maybe 200 extra grams of protein beyond what you need for all your health, metabolic functions, repair, everything else in your body, is 200 extra grams a month at the most. And that's assuming some inefficiencies going on. 200 grams. Divide that by 30. We can round it up to 7 grams of protein a day. All right, 7 grams of extra protein a day. Oh, you want to round it up and say, well, the body's not efficient. 10 extra grams of protein a day. Do you really need a protein added product to get that? I mean, if the RDA for a healthy man is 60 grams, most guys easily, without even tracking, probably consume 100 before any supplements, before any protein enriched foods. They're already consuming 30 grams over the RDA for someone who's not really trying to gain muscle. All right, that's 3 times the extra amount. Actually, 100, that's 4 times, 40 grams over. 4 times the extra amount that you would need to maximize muscle gains. So, I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, you've got to look at the absurdity of it. You've got to look at the absurdity of these protein-enriched products. This is just marketing hype. That's all it is. It's marketing hype. To try to get people to buy products that they don't really need, because a trend in an industry has been started that everyone needs more protein. It's not that hard to get enough protein, guys. And particularly if you're not a vegan. The other example I gave of getting 90 to 100 grams a day can be done easily for vegans. I mean, people who consume no animal products. They're going to have the lowest potential for protein out of any diet. And I'm not talking about crazy-ass fruitarians and people who eat only potatoes and bananas. I'm talking about people who eat a lot of whole grains, a lot of beans, things like that. Those people can easily get 90 to 100 grams of protein a day without any meat. And then those of us who are consuming animal products, we go way over that. I mean, look at one little tub of Greek yogurt. The average tub of Greek yogurt, fat-free Greek yogurt, has something like 80 to 90 grams of protein just in that one container, all right? And there's usually only about 500 calories in the whole container. Now, if you're on a 2,500 calorie a day diet, which is reasonable for a physically active male, that's like 90 grams of protein for a fifth of your calories. And every other thing that you eat has protein in it too. Hell, if you eat some cereal with it, you've probably added another 20 grams. If you didn't even use milk, you just dump some bran flakes in that, or some Cheerios, you're going to get easily over 100 grams of protein a day. But everything else that you eat has it also. I mean, you throw in a chicken salad or a chicken sandwich later that day, and bam, you've hit another 50 grams. I mean, this idea that it's difficult to get protein or takes a large amount of cooking is just absurd. It's so easy to get enough protein in the modern world, in first world countries where you have all these animal products, that actually actively seeking it out for most people who are just trying to get into shape is a complete waste of time. And buying extra products for it, and the protein-enriched food, protein shakes, things like that, come on, this is marketing hype. There's no need for it. It's so easy to hit these numbers and way surpass them that it shouldn't even be a real consideration for most people. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.